So Britain is broken or broke or both. I'm seeing lots of people talk about how despondent they feel about the state of the country, society, the economy, their personal circumstances. And today, well, I don't want to absolve politicians and the people that direct the economy and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to um, ignore the people that are responsible. But that kind of thing is going to require longer term fixes in terms of who we vote for, political action, protests, alternate ways of engaging with politics and society. Those are longer term things to work on. But I just want to talk about what we can do today to get ourselves out of this malaise. Is that the right word? Malaise? Because I think a lot of us have been lulled into this situation where we depend so much on corporations or people that don't have our best interests at heart. We depend on those entities and people for our entertainment, for our sense of meaning, our sense of community. And then inevitably, we are let down because those corporations, for example, they have ultimately their goal is to maximize their revenues and their profits and their shareholder values. So you might be a big fan of a particular movie series, and you might be disappointed at how those films turn out. But the company that creates those films has different motivations, and the same goes for games or comics or series. Maybe you're a fan of a book series and then it gets turned into a show, and in the show they just deviate from the plot, they change the characters, and I see people get really disappointed and angry about this. But yeah, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be disappointed and angry or whatever, but if you are in a situation where your entertainment, your sense of meaning, your sense of community is based on products that a company or corporation makes, then eventually there's a good chance you will be disappointed eventually. And I'm not saying you shouldn't ever enjoy a movie or read a book or play a game, but just keep in mind that if it's good, it's good, and it's a win. But don't rely on it in the long term. So how do we avoid this? I think we have to return to being creators and teachers and leaders and facilitators ourselves, because and I've spoken about this before, that's the natural state of being a human. We lived for the majority of our existence without being able to come home after work and watch Netflix, right? We would sit around the fire and we would tell our own stories. Netflix will cancel a show after 1 or 2 seasons because not enough people are watching, and they will leave you hanging without resolution. But if you're sitting around the campfire with your friends telling a story, then your friend will finish the story for you, unless something happens to him, he gets eaten by a tiger or something like that, right? But chances are that he will finish the story for you, or somebody else will finish the story, and you will get resolution, or you will finish the story yourself. You will be a storyteller when you grow up and become the elder of the village, right? Because your parents and your grandparents told you the stories, and you will learn the stories, and you will tell the stories, and you will put your own spin on things, and you will add things and new characters and new situations. And that's how people existed forever. And we made our own entertainment, and we made our own communities, and we gave our own lives meaning. And so, but now, so many of us are just so invested in what other people are creating for us, other companies and corporations are creating for us. And then when they pull the rug, or they disappoint us, or they take advantage of us, then we're left hanging and we think, oh, my life is over, because maybe not literally, but I see people get really angry and disappointed, and I've been there with certain movies and things like that, where I think, why did they do that? But then I put it into perspective, because I'm creating my own music, I'm creating my own story, as it were, and you know, as an example, I've been helping to put together shows with my friend Oliver from New Stuff Records. His name's Oliver New Stuff Records. And he puts on gigs, he puts on band shows, and he puts on an acoustic night. And I've been helping find acts for this. So for the last night that was on Monday, I found all 6 of the acts for that night, and people were coming up to me afterwards saying how much they enjoyed it, and it was everyone was really, all the performers were really good, and it was a great night. It was free entry at the venue, and the venue obviously gets money from the people that are buying drinks and food, so they get something out of it. And the performers, unfortunately, I couldn't pay them, so they got paid in exposure, but they all seemed to really enjoy it, because they had an audience. There were at the maximum maybe 40 people there, and it's a small little venue, right? So it felt really full, and with the band, the full band shows that Oliver organizes, there is the opportunity to move towards that. And who knows, maybe we could do ticketed events in the future so that the artists can get paid. That would be really cool. Although I'm hesitant to become a promoter and fully go into that world, because I primarily want to be a musician and an artist myself, and do my own shows and release my own music. But I recognize that we can't all just sit back and expect other people to create the gigs and create the shows. We have to do some of it ourselves. And so coming back to this idea of that I'm talking about, is that I am a creator myself, but I'm also a facilitator myself. I'm also facilitating the opportunity for other people to display, to perform their music in front of people. Again, I don't want to ignore what's going on in the wider world, the economy, and there are things that should be done a lot differently and better, and we should work towards that in the longer term. But in the short term, I think we have to get off our backsides, as it were, and we have to write our own novels and our own songs and make our own movies, even if it's just with a phone camera. Record your own 25-minute short movie with your friends. Write a script, get some friends to act into it that are interested in acting, and make your own movie. And it's not going to be like a big budget superhero movie, right? But it will be yours, and you will never pull the rug from out under yourself. Yeah, you might decide to do a different project and go in a different direction, but if you want to, you can finish the story for yourself and your friends, and you won't have the ulterior motive of, oh, I need to make money, and if there's not enough money made from it, then the show is cancelled or the movie is cancelled. And the community that you can create around that will be a real community. It's not tainted by monetary interests. So you start writing short stories, and then you can share your short stories with other writers, and you can go to venue where people read out their stories and their poems, or maybe you are a teacher and you teach skills to people, maths or physics, or how to exercise properly, or all those things. And to do those things usually costs very little or is even free to do those kinds of things. Most people in the UK have a phone that they could record a video on, or they could write a poem and put it on a blog, or read it out aloud on TikTok. And yeah, that's a more valuable thing to do in the long run. And in the short term, I think it can help us a lot get through this this situation that we're finding ourselves in the country.